The Model Y is Tesla's most popular SUV, with a 5-star safety rating and 326-mile range. The Model Y came out in March of 2019 and starts at $46,690. Today I'm going to be test driving the Model Y and giving you my initial reaction. So right now I am on my way to go test drive the Model Y. So I've never actually test drove or driven the Model Y before, and we're kind of toying with the idea of actually leasing a new car or leasing maybe even a Tesla Model Y. So today we're gonna go take one home and see what we think. So tonight we got this Model Y. We get to keep it for overnight and then have to take it back in the morning. But this is the Model Y. It is just, I guess, a long-range version of it. It has the black interior and it has just the standard wheels on it. I think it's really interesting to see the black interior here since we actually have the white interior. And I really do like the black as well. I think the white is super poppy and it looks really contrasty and sporty, but the Model Y is definitely more of an SUV than it is a sports car, whereas like our Model 3 is definitely more of a sports car type car. So I like the white in the Model 3, but I actually really like the black in the Model Y. So I think my first impression here is just that the car feels so much bigger. Our Model 3, you kind of sit in and you sit really low to the ground, and here, when I get in, I feel so much higher up, and it feels like I am actually driving an SUV, even though for some reason I always felt like the Model Y wasn't as big as like my last car, which was my Equinox. I never thought of it necessarily as an SUV, but at this point, like sitting in it now, it definitely does have the same feel. Another big thing that I notice is that the screen does feel a little smaller in this car. Definitely my Model 3 is a lot smaller, so I think that the screen feels bigger, and so in this car the car's bigger, so the screen feels smaller. But it's still super clean, just like the Model 3, and I just feel like I have a lot of space and a lot of room. And one thing I've always liked, which has been a little controversial, has been the seats. And I really feel like these are still just super comfortable, and I feel like this would be a really great car for long road trips. Another thing that I noticed is that this moonroof looks huge. I know in our Model 3 we have almost like a bar that goes in between the middle, so it kind of splits it into two different sections. But here it's just one single pane of glass, and it's so beautiful. And right now the sun's going down too, so you're getting like the most perfect sunset in it. And I really like that effect because it just makes it look and seem so much bigger. Even though it is already bigger, it just seems like a pretty awesome large car. Now let's take a look at the back seat and see how much room we have. So we don't have a ton of space in our Model 3, and I think that's something we're definitely looking for in our next car that we do decide to lease, so that it can be like a comfortable family car that we can drive and take on long road trips. So let's take a look. So there's definitely already so much more legroom here. I feel, again, like I'm sitting pretty high up, and honestly this is a pretty decent amount of space. It's pretty usual, I would think, for an SUV. It doesn't feel like I'm squished at all, but I do have shorter legs, so I don't know how that is for you tall people. But for me, I think that this seems pretty spacious, and I would be happy to sit back here. Also, there are two USB-Cs just like in the Model 3, and so if you want to charge anything, then it's a good spot to do it. This car also has a cup holder down here in the center, something that it doesn't have in the Model 3. This seems really convenient too if you have kids and you're on a trip and you want to get them some drinks in the back, but it's just another added feature that's just nice to have. So this is actually a 7-seater Model Y, so let's take a look at the back seats and see if there are any like leg room back there, because this doesn't seem like a huge car, so I'm really interested to see if someone could comfortably fit back there. So let's just put down the seat here. Oh, it moves forward. That's kind of cool. So I guess they do move forward so that you have less space on this row and then a little bit more in the back. So if you hit this button here, it just easily just move forward. Okay, so I'm in the back. It was kind of difficult to get back here. I feel very squished. I would not want to sit back here for long periods of time. If you have children, then this might be okay, but I would not really want to sit back here ever. The seats do go up a little bit, but honestly my feet barely fit in this tiny little spot down here. So I am definitely not comfortable overall. So now we're gonna check out the trunk space. Since this is a 7-seater, I'm really interested to see how much space there actually is. So let's take a look. Okay, so not great. Well, I guess you have the space down here, which isn't horrible, but for long road trips, if you have a bunch of kids, I'm not sure that you're gonna be able to fit everything in here. With these 2 seats here. I think without these 2 seats, this is plenty of room, but once you add in the seats, you really don't have a lot of space to work with. So now that the seats are down, I feel like there's so much more room, and like here, I'll even get in it. I think that like a person could even fit back here. So it's definitely spacious once the seats are down, and we could put like a whole bunch of luggage for any kind of road trip. Okay, so let's see if this is any different than driving the Model 3. So far, I just feel like I'm higher up, but it seems to kind of drive very similarly. I will say that it doesn't have necessarily the sports car feel, and that's probably just the size and the height, but it definitely doesn't seem as zippy as the Model 3, but overall, it's very comparable in terms of like driving. Since we do have the white interior, I think it's interesting now to see the black. The black has a different feel, I will say, or at least maybe I just think it does over the white. I'll go check when we get home, and so we can compare them side by side, but it does seem to feel a little bit different. And then also something like here, it's a little bit like fuzzy, almost like the inside of like a jewelry box. And ours does not have that in the white interior. It doesn't have that kind of like fabric feel. And then of course you have like the wood grain on the front, and then we don't have that in the Model 3. It's a little bit more of like a metal type look. So you're definitely getting a different type of look with the black. I do still really like it. I don't know if this fabric here is my favorite, just because I think it does look a little bit cheap and a little bit old-timey, like an old casino. But overall, I still really do like the black. Black is so classic and you can't really go wrong with it. So I think if we were to lease a car, I might actually get the black in that one. Overall, I think that the Model Y just feels like a larger Model 3. It has the same interior feel, and it also has very similar driving. So I really like it, and I like how much more space that you are getting with the Model Y, and I just think it's a very comfortable drive. Now I do think that the 7 seats is a bit pushing it on space, but I guess it is nice that it is an option. Please let me know in the comments down below if you guys think that I should lease a Model Y, or if there's another EV that you think that would be better. But please give me a like also down below if you found this video helpful. That really helps out my channel. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.